Hello, Internet. It's Cameron with Venus Theory, and in today's video, we're back with Dune 3. In this video, we're going to be doing some bass design. I wanted to show off two different patches I made and talk about how I go about doing bass stuff using Dune 3. So these patches are a bit more complicated, so this might be a bit longer, so grab a drink, settle in, and let's get ready to party. Okay, so let's go ahead and just kind of work through this one little section at a time. So first things first, master is set to legato, and down here I've got my glide to 74%. That's just kind of my typical bass setting. The limiter is engaged, however this is not required, as you'd probably end up throwing a limiter or some kind of compressor on the actual inserts, but for the sake of time, I did not. So oscillator 1, 3 saws. That's pretty much it. Semis down an octave, detuned 54%, spread of 20%. Oscillator 2, 1 voice. This is just the wavetable. This is just a straight up sine wave and nothing happening here. The noise is set to white noise. Oscillator 3 we can ignore because we're not going to use it. A low pass on the noise is set to about 4K, high pass set to about 250 hertz or so. This is the blend of the oscillators. Noise, you'll notice, is down. We're going to get to that in a minute. RM is ring mod. That's at 60-ish%, and that ends up sounding pretty cool. So this patch is going to end up sounding something like this. And we're going to do a couple things to make that happen. So over here in the mod matrix, let's go ahead and get started talking about how things are going to be going on here. Then we'll dive into some effects. So amplitude envelope, the release is up 35%. That's pretty much it. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and the noise volume is going to be set with oscillator 3. That's actually why this is set to a sine, and it's down 12 semitones. So how this works is in the settings, I've set the modulation rate to audio rate. So that means that this noise is going to modulate at the audio rate. So as I play a note, the noise is going to happen in time or in tune with that note. And that's what I wanted, is kind of a amplitude modulation thing going on with noise. So thing number one here is some filtering stuff. We've got filter 1 and filter 2. This is set to deep notch and then CL notch. The balance is set 50% to filter 1 or so. Down here in the effects, I have the comb selected. The amount is 5% and the routing is FX. So this guy into filter 1, which then goes to filter 2. So LFO1 is assigned to filter 1 cutoff with a negative value. LFO2 is a positive value to filter 2's cutoff. The LFOs here are set very, very slow, 0.067 hertz. LFO2 here is set to 0.1 hertz, and the shape is sample and glide. This allows just kind of a random something to happen. MSEG1 is set to the filter effects amount. So if we go to MSEG1, this is what I've done. I've set the mode to loop and just drew in kind of some random stuff. So that'll kind of bring this comb in and out and move it around, which creates a lot of that Reese weirdness. Oscillator 3, positive value to the noise volume. I found about plus 50 seemed to work well. MSEG2, this guy here, this is creating a pitch decay envelope, so this is just plus 18. This would be pitch semitones, so that just creates a nice kind of impacty thing. And since we've got legato, when we glide between notes, it doesn't re-trigger that. You could set this to mono if you'd like to re-trigger the pitch envelope each time. So it just depends on kind of what you want to do. I found legato worked well just because I want that initial hit and then I want the bass to kind of move around. So in terms of effects, I've got the distortion. This is set to crunch, drive of about 40%, tone up plus 41%, dry wet 17%. The Equalizer 2 here is active. This is the settings here. So low shelf to boost some lows, high shelf to boost some highs, and a bit of EQ to give it some kind of bite around 1K-ish, and then suck out some of about 500 hertz, as you typically do with the Reese bass. Chorus, set to single. These are the settings here. Dry, wet, about 10-15%, somewhere in there. Finally, this all feeds into the compressor. This is set to vintage mode, and I just wanted to kind of totally smash this. So I'm going for about 15 dB of gain reduction or so, and then just adjusting the output to bring it back up. So now when we play this, we get this really cool sound. So kind of a nice old school Reese thing. So then I decided I want to take this and try and make some kind of Neuro-y thing with it. So that's what I've done here. So let's go ahead and talk about this Neuro-y dude. Without all the effects and stuff, it sounds like this. And then, so how did I make that? So this is actually just the same stuff. I just changed the oscillators here. So what I've done is set this one at a wavetable. This is just a sine, and it's just 3 detuned sine waves. Oscillator 2 is MH solder random, position at about 23%. Really nothing else going on here. The only thing I did is change the filters. So filter 2, I've set the balance 100% to filter 2. This is silent key bandpass 12. And then the routing here is changed. So it's filter 1 to filter 2, then into the effects. And I've changed the effect to a phaser. So that makes things sound really, really cool. And instead of having the LFO go to the filter cutoff, I've set that to MSEG3. And I just made a quick pattern. This is a length of 4 set to loop. And that's really all I did, is just change a couple settings and made this crazy thing. And I wanted to just make that totally insane. So to start off, corrosion or erosion if you're using Ableton, and input drive about 7 dB or so, frequency of about 1.5K. This then feeds into Hornet analog stage set to tube, and just drive that up until it feels okay. Right about there should be fine. This feeds into kilohertz distortion, saturate, and this is plus 15 dB. Ableton's saturator will do. Fed this into another distortion. Mixed in about 66%. From there, this feeds into a slice EQ. This just kind of tames everything. It's a really weird EQ. So I brought up some of the like super subby stuff, cut out about 100 hertz or so, sucked out about 500, and then gave it some kind of presence lift up here around 5-6K. This feeds into the kilohertz phase distortion, which is a great way to make some ridiculous sounds. And then a quick kilohertz reverb. I've used this more as a dimension expander than anything. So I've done this by setting the decay to 500 milliseconds, the dampen to 24 decibels per second, size down all the way, width all the way up, early, play with that till it feels right, mix, play with that till it feels right. So by doing that, I created this really kind of stupid, ridiculous Neuro bass. So you could use these two together, you know, make a bass line. Something like that. But anyways, that will do it for this video, guys. So those are 2 different bass patches that you can run away with and play with and see what happens. So that's it for this video, guys. So thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again soon.